In a world where we have everything and it's still not enough, we're often left wondering, is this really it?
Deep inside, you know there's more to life. You're ready to leave behind the old push your way through and claim the deeper, more meaningful life that's calling you.
That's what we invite you to explore with us.
We're your hosts,
Stephanie Allen
and Maren. And this is the Soulful Leader Podcast.
Yay!
How do you know what's next? Like that's such a huge question in our culture right now. Knowing what's next steps for ourselves, whether it's personally or in our businesses or for our careers. There's this morning I was talking to a career counselor. She works with 1,600 young people. And she said they're completely redesigning, retooling, re-architecting what it means to be a career counselor, because 50% of the careers that they used to talk about don't even exist anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think about that from the perspective of, if that many of them don't exist anymore, we either go into fear and angst because, oh my God, what am I going to do? There aren't enough jobs. Or we go into creation mode of, if that many don't exist, that means that there's that many more coming that we don't know what they look like yet. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's the piece of what's next. So often the people that I'm working with, when I talk to them about what's next for them, they bring out this laundry list of possibilities. All of them are things that have already been done in the past. And the conversation that we turn to, and what this woman wanted to talk to me about today, is, what would it look like to actually be present to what's possible? What's not, like, we don't even know it yet.
I think that's a key right there, is like, how do we prepare for that?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where the anxiety and depression and fear all lies, is that we want to prepare financially. We want to prepare physically. We want to prepare mentally, emotionally. We don't tend to think about those ones, mentally and emotionally. But we do tend to think about, let's get all my ducks in a row, to be able to retire, to be able to have more than enough money, to be able to live into my future with health and well-being. But we're asking to go from a different place when I say about mentally and emotionally and even spiritually. How do we prepare for the unknown so that we are ready and resilient to be able to make a change that's needed?
I love this, because all the things that you're talking about, they're very linear and logical. Like putting your ducks in a row, living the way that we live. We've been taught that the linear and logical will keep you safe. It's your security blanket. So get your ducks in a row, do all the stuff. And one of the things that we found is it's not working. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, how many people lost everything because something came along like COVID? We don't know what's going to happen. Or all the security went away because big business is no longer, quote unquote, the answer. And they used to have programs where you put in so much time and they would give you money back, right? Like all of the things. And, that's all gone away. So being present to what wants to happen or what's incoming is not a logical and linear process. It involves a different part of our brain and our souls that needs to be developed in order to complement, not to eclipse, to complement that process of linear and logical.
It's like the missing piece. It's not saying that getting all your ducks in a row isn't a good thing or a bad thing. What we're saying is that that's important and there's more. And that can feel a little daunting, doesn't it, when you say, and there's more. But it's often what what humanity forgets about is the emotional state. I always go back to like think about somebody who wins $1 million. Well, there your answers have been just, you know, they're
Taken care of.
taken care of, all your problems taken care of. But that's not true. And we know this because if you haven't learned the skillfulness, the mental, the emotional, even the spiritual elements of being able to steward that kind of a life force, we lose it. So we could
And
use that with $1 million
oftentimes you
and
go
go for it.
further
You
into
go
debt
further and behind.
than when you, yeah.
The old saying that love is blind, someone who's absolutely perfect for you can show up. But if you haven't done the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual self-awareness within you, or even self-esteem, self-confidence, you won't be able to allow that. You won't be able to receive it. You'll sabotage it. You push it away. So there's all of these things. And so we know this, and yet we still don't make that mental, emotional, and spiritual underpinnings valuable enough because nobody sees that.
Right.
Like that's the long haul. That's the internal things that nobody looks at. Nobody sees. They only see the outer results. And because they're not instantaneous, well, they must not be working.
Right. That's so true. I think of it in terms of recently, you and I have been talking about what best practices mean. And I'm going to relate this to what you were just talking about of best practices usually are not actually best practices, and they are completely based on the outer results and the instant results. And one of the things that, again, we know and that we've seen and that we've found, there's lots of people doing studies on this and lots of evidence out there, is that oftentimes best practices cause more problems than they solve.
So can you give an example of that? Like give me a story or an example of something like that you know of.
Sure. The forestry industry is a great example of that. When we started to realize that we were demolishing forests, there was a best practice that was established of replanting them. And what we did was we did them in monocultures because that's what we knew. We knew how to do monocultures. We chose fast-growing trees, which are pines, and we planted them in rows and large plots. Here's a solution, right? We repopulate the trees and we do it with something that's fast growing. And that way we can come in and we can cut certain ones down, and great, problem solved. The problem is that pine trees are fast growing and they don't allow for the full ecosystem to also grow. So you've got a forest floor which is completely devoid of all the microorganisms and the things that would normally be there, and the other varieties of trees and shrubs and understories and all of that. None of that gets established. So the pine trees have tar in them, which burns quickly. They also drop pine needles, which burn quickly, and you have nothing else around it that's mitigating. And so we're now in an era when we have a lot of raging forest fires. Guess what? Best practices. We created that situation out of, this is what I mean by something that we think are best practices, and we haven't thought through, like, what does that mean for our future selves? It's the immediate fix.
Yeah.
Versus,
Plus, I think of all the nature, like you said, there's nothing microorganisms. So even the animals, most of the animals live and eat off of the hardwood trees. And if we're reforesting with softwood, it doesn't have that to be able to thrive in its own ecosystem in nature. And of course, that's the whole food chain. So then
yes,
it's like I think that's the part, is that we're not separate. I know this in therapy. A lot of times somebody can come and say, my knee hurts. And I don't end up working on their knee. I end up working, I don't know, maybe I'm on their shoulder or something. I don't know. It's what I'm experiencing in their body because, and they'll say, Stephanie, I told you my knee hurts. Why are you pulling my arm? Like, did you not listen to me?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I'm listening to you, but I'm listening to your body even more because where there's a symptom isn't always where the cause is.
It very
And
rarely is.
it very rarely is. And this applies to everything, not even when I'm talking about body work, but I mean, relationships, where there's an issue isn't always where it started. Like,
In
we blow up
dance,
or, yeah,
we would talk
past
about
lives.
that.
Yeah.
It's like where a dance routine would fall apart, I would never look at that moment. I would always look at what happened before that because it's not where it's like we see the outer again and then we try and
Mhm.
fix the outer, but that's not where the problem A started or where we actually need to go in order to resolve it.
You're right. To repattern it, to reorganize it. Yeah,
Right.
it's like Buckminster Fuller always said, when you see a system that isn't working, our tendency is to go in and try to fix it
Hmm.
instead of to cultivate a whole new system that transcends and includes the old one. And
That's
that,
fantastic.
yeah, and that takes creativity, it takes imagination, it takes curiosity, it takes being able to ask questions. And our culture is not trained to be able to do that. We're trained to come up with, don't think for yourself. I want you to come up with the right answers. And here's the answers. So memorize.
And that is where best practices come from. It's
Mhm.
completely outer based. And when we started the conversation, you're talking about, getting your ducks in a row and all of the linear logical things that we need to do. And you said that there's a complementary, there's something else, there's another piece, and that can feel daunting. And yet, when you have that other piece and you're actually present to it, and here's the thing, that other piece is all of the things that you just mentioned, the creativity, the imagination, like the things that Buckminster Fuller was talking about in order to create a different system. And all of those things make what's happening currently and getting your ducks in a row easier and
Mm.
more fun and enjoyable. So, although it may feel daunting, in getting that other piece in place makes everything easier and flow better. It actually makes it.
Yeah. So why do you think our humanity struggles with that? Like we just want to default to the old patterns, to the old ways of best practices, instead of shifting into something that actually has been proven is going to help not only ourselves but humanity even that much more. Like so what I always think, is it just habit and we don't like change? Is it the
That's
lack
a
of awareness or lack of consciousness that we don't know that we don't know?
I think that's a great question and something that each of us could look at. I, for me, when you ask that question, what comes up is our education system, which it doesn't really serve us anymore. It was designed for the
The
Industrial
industrialized,
Revolution,
yeah.
right? So that it would literally train us to be cogs in a wheel that served the industrial system. And
Which is now we have AI, which is now going to take the place of those industrialized jobs, right?
yeah.
So now what?
So I think it's an unlearning process.
Yeah.
It's literally giving yourself permission to say, what if what I learned is not true?
Or not helpful anymore.
And I think both of those, because something can be not helpful and also true, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, to be told that there are only X number of jobs. Okay, that might be a fact. What it means to you is the story that you tell about it, whether it's true or untrue for you
Mhm.
or what that means. So, if I were to unpack that a little bit, if I was living in a world where I was getting all my ducks in a row and I believed that the system was going to support me and that if I just got a certain job and did a certain thing, then everything would be okay. And then that fell apart because there just aren't that many jobs anymore. AI is going to take all the jobs.
Mm.
I would feel betrayed. I would feel lost. I would feel hopeless. I would be scared, all of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I was told that same fact and I came from a place, not from the cog in the wheel industrial education place, if I came from a place of I can create my own world and the job that I do may not exist yet. And
The job that you are born to do may not exist yet either.
yeah. And that there's something out there that will support me, a totally different mindset. Now someone tells me that same quote unquote fact that says, hey, AI is taking all the jobs and, there isn't a place for you. I'd be like, no big deal. There wasn't a place for me anyway, because the job that's mine, that aligns with my life mission and why I'm here on the planet doesn't exist yet. So let me look around, and I'd be excited about it.
Yeah, that is a practice, though, isn't it?
It's
To
very much of
shift
a
your
practice.
awareness to that, because and that's not easy. Because
No,
it's
and
like
that's why
you're
I said it's
breaking that
unlearning.
habit.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's unlearning. You have to unlearn your belief system. And
Mhm.
that starts with questioning it. Can you start to question it? Can you start to say, is that true?
Hmm. Yeah, and being able to align yourself with a belief that you are here for a reason. You do have value and worth, and you
And
do
it's
have gifts and
unique.
strengths, and it's unique, and there is no other you. You are taken.
The other thing is that not only do you have it, it's needed. It's
Mhm.
actually needed on the planet right now. It really
Yeah,
is.
and often I'll find, like, pain and suffering, discomfort will help us to seek for it. Because, when something doesn't feel good, or, whether it's physical pain or it's a depression or an anxiety and emotional pain, you go, okay, I've had enough. I want out. I'm done. And if we could start to say, that's one way of seeking for another way. But it doesn't have to be the only way. Like, sometimes life can be pretty dang fantastic. And that can be an opportunity to say, what if there's something else I'm actually here to be doing? That I have the life force and the awareness and the time, the money, the energy, the resources to actually start to seek. That can also be a positive way too. And I don't think we're told that. But it has to come down to that core belief of that you do have value, you do have worth, you do have gifts and strengths that are needed right here, right now, for this
Yeah.
time. There's no mistake that you actually, all of the myself, you, all those who are listening, we were all born for this time for a reason. There is something that's meant to not only that we're here to do, but also that we're here to be. So there's an inner aspect of ourselves, like looking at ourselves differently, feeling about ourselves differently, like to be able to change that. It's not easy,
Well,
and
I
it's
think
worth it.
that's that second piece, right? Like we're pretty darn good at the outer of what
Yeah.
needs to happen right now, next steps, linear logical, and we're not so good at the inner, which means dismantling some of the beliefs, not
Hmm.
dismantling the outer because we're both, right? We've got the inside and the outside. When I say the inside, I mean the thoughts, the emotions, the spirituality, the whatever that alignment is for ourselves. And so when we're looking at having both pieces in place, it's not an either or, it's a both and. It's a
Hmm.
complementary. And like I said before, it does help it help the rest of it to get easier. And so when we for me, when I look back at the question of how do we know what's next for ourselves, one of the things I was hearing you saying is, well, there are some red flags, or there are some flags. Let's call them flags, right? One of them is that if you're not comfortable, whether it's inside your body because you have a flare up of something, or a knee hurting, or a disease coming in, or whatever, there's a flag there that's saying, hey, listen. Or it could be from joy and inspiration of, I feel a longing. It's not something that's in a way of like, oh, it hurts. It's more of a like, oh, I get so excited to do that. Those are both flags that say, hey, listen.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. Because you're tapping into your own wisdom. And that's how you're going to know what's next, is you're the one with the wisdom.
So this is a great practice that someone could do. Is just like, don't just do something, just sit there and listen.
Wait a
pay
minute.
attention.
All right.
Right?
Stop for a second, because I want to call you on that. I want you to go deeper into when you say, don't just do something, just sit there. You're not literally meaning for somebody to just check out and be like, Stephanie said, don't do anything. I'm just going to sit here and watch TV.
Oh my God. And don't we all do that? I've done that too. It's like, sometimes you're just so burnt out. You just like, I just need to just vacate. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that, because that's actually pretty easy to do. Most of us do that all the time. We can drive to work and not even know how we got there.
Right.
Like, we vacate. So yeah, no, it's about being present, being able to sit there and just listening, paying attention, breathing.
What are they listening to, and what are they paying attention to?
Well, we got to ask a question, don't we?
Tell me about that.
I often think it's like, like, start with a question, like the existential questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? Just pick one. Who am I?
And be
just
with it.
Be with it. And whether that's taking a walk in nature, take the question with you, though. Don't just walk in nature. Take a question with you. Even if you have an issue, a problem that's going on, an obstacle or a complaint, take it to your practice, take it to nature. And how would a bird do this? How would a tree approach this problem? Like, let nature teach you. This is a book of life. Life will tell you. Like, if we can ask a question, but it's what is the question that I want, that will help me, guide me. And then it is about sitting with it, being with it, asking questions, letting it come to you, because it will.
And our tendency is to chase after it. That's what we've been trained to do, is there it is, go chase after it. And instead, developing the receptive side of us and saying, what is it? And I'm going to be present. So that's the question that you asked, right? Is the question is the search engine. Like, you're literally typing into Google search, what's my meaning of life? Except for the fact that it's you, not Google search. It's not something out there. You're asking you. And so we have our brain, the job of our brain is to find answers to our questions. So if you ask your brain, oh man, why am I so stupid? You're going to get all the reasons you're so stupid. And if you ask your brain, why am I here on this planet?
You're going to start getting witnesses of it.
You're going to start to get the answers.
And that requires paying attention.
That's the just sit there, don't do anything. So that's what I wanted to unfold, is when Stephanie says, don't just do something.
Just
sit there. It is
with intention.
There. It's with intention. It's having asked a question, and it's being present to the things that show up, not running after any one of them, present to the patterns that start to show up.
Yeah.
And that right there is the practice for you to know what's next in your life.
So this is what we're about. The Soulful
Yeah.
Leader is creating an environment for you to flourish, to allow you to grow those roots and plant those seeds, and to have safe
Instead
space
of,
to ask of questions and curiosities and wonders, and to
yeah,
develop your gifts and strengths, to discover what they are and then to develop them. And so,
instead of living somebody else's best practices, you'll be in alignment with you and where you're meant to be next.
yeah.
So we'd love to hear back from you. What are your thoughts about today's podcast? Where did it leave you? What did you do with the practice? You can find us online at the Soulful Leaders. That's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then also on our website, tslp.life. Looking forward to hearing from you.
And that wraps up another episode of the Soulful Leader podcast with your hosts, Stephanie Allen
and Maren Oslack. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to dive deeper, head over to our website at thesoulfulleaderpodcast.com.
Until next time.